Hey boys and girls, it's Miss Roston here, and today we're going to talk about the 2018-2019 Bluebonnet Award nominees. So, what exactly is Bluebonnet? Well, every year librarians in the state of Texas get together and they read a ton of new books that came out for that year. And out of all of those books, they choose the 20 best books that came out for that year. Now, those 20 books become the Bluebonnet Award nominees, and we're going to talk about those today. And then, kids in the state of Texas, that's you guys. If you read at least 5 books from that list and you take your AR test over those books and you pass all 5 AR tests, then you get invited to our Bluebonnet voting party, which is so much fun. Usually, we have the Bluebonnet voting party in the library. We have pizza and treats, and we do some fun activities, and then you vote on your favorite book from the Bluebonnet list that you read, and then I send those votes in, and the book that gets the most votes becomes the Bluebonnet winner for that year. So you guys would get to pick the winner from the Bluebonnet list. Now, you have to read at least 5 books that we're going to talk about today, and you have to pass your AR test over those 5 books in order to get invited to our Bluebonnet voting party. The voting party is not until January, so that means that you have from now until January to read 5 books. I know that between now and then you can read at least 5 books from this list. So now we're going to talk about the 20 books that are on this year's Bluebonnet list. Remember, to get invited to the party in January, you have to read at least 5 of the books that we're going to talk about today. Take your AR test over those 5 books and pass all of those AR tests. Now, you can definitely read more than 5, but to get invited to our party, you have to read at least 5 books that we're going to talk about today. Guys, the best part about all of this, every single one of these books is awesome. You're going to love them. The first book on the list is called Amina's Voice. Now, this is a great book for anybody who's maybe ever felt like they wanted to speak up about something, but they were too nervous or too scared to do it. Amina has a best friend who, when they go to middle school together, starts to try to become somebody maybe she's not in order to try to fit in. And Amina doesn't really know how to feel about this. She's a shy person. She doesn't normally like to stick up for herself. But then something really bad happens, and Amina feels like she has to use her voice and stand up against some things that are going on. Amina's Voice is an excellent book. It's great for my 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders who are going to be getting ready for middle school soon. I highly recommend this one, Amina's Voice. Now, the next book on our list is The Bicycle Spy. This one is a great one for anybody who likes books about history. If you like I Survived, you would definitely like this book. It's about a kid named Marcel who loves racing his bike. He looks forward to the race they have in his hometown in France every year. But then something happens. It's in the 1940s. The war has come to France, and Marcel learns something really scary about the soldiers that have invaded his town, and he realizes that his friend might be in real danger. This is an adventure book. It is about it has some themes that relate to the Holocaust. If you like learning about history, if you like adventure, this is a great one. Bravo, Poems About Amazing Hispanics, is a book that has poems about Hispanics throughout history that maybe you guys haven't heard of before. Some of them you probably have, some of them might be new to you. I know that I have some kids in here who really like poetry, and this book is excellent. The illustrations are beautiful, the poems are really cool. It's a quick read, so remember you have to read 5. So this can be one of your 5, and it doesn't take you too long to read, but it's really interesting. If you like poetry, like learning about people, biographies, this is a great one. Now, this is going to be different from probably any book you've read before. It's called Chef Roy Choi and the Street Food Remix. Now, what I love about this book are the illustrations. They're so cool and so beautiful to look at, and the story is really interesting. It's about a real chef named Chef Roy Choi who, in Los Angeles, decided to open up a food truck, and his way of showing love to the people of Los Angeles was cooking for them and kind of creating these new dishes that maybe nobody had ever tasted before that had something to do with how he grew up. If you like cooking, if you like food trucks, if any of you have ever been to food trucks and you really like that kind of food, this is a really cool one. And if you also just like books that have awesome art inside, this is a really great book. I think you guys will really enjoy it. The next book on our list is one of my favorites from this year. It's called Garvey's Choice by Nikki Grimes. If you've ever heard me talk about a novel in verse, this is one of those. It means that each page has its own poem, and all of those poems come together to tell the story. It's about a kid named Garvey who doesn't really fit in with his family. He likes things like singing and science fiction, but his dad really wants him to play football and be an athlete. If you ever felt like maybe you don't fit in, maybe in your own family, or you don't do what people expect of you, this is a great book for you. I love it. I think that anybody who reads it can relate to this book. It's called Garvey's Choice. Grand Canyon is the next book on our list, and there's really not much for me to say about this. What it makes this book so cool is that it shows you it has these beautiful illustrations, and it shows you all of this information and these interactive maps that have to do with one of nature's most amazing, wonderful landforms, the Grand Canyon. This is one of those books I can't tell you about it, but once you see it, you're not going to want to let it go. It is such a great book. The next book on our list is for all of you who like tall tales. It's called Grandpa's Hallelujah Hambone. Now, growing up, the author Joe's family didn't have much, but one day his grandpa brings home a ham bone, and they're determined to make that ham bone last as long as they possibly can. Then the neighbors start hearing about this ham bone, and it gets passed around until one day something incredible happens. When you read this, you'll have to decide if you're going to believe what the author says happens, or is this really just another tall tale? Harlem, a neighborhood in New York City, is home to all kinds of kids. Jen sees life passing her by from the window of her family's store. Alex wants to help the needy at a shelter nearby, but can't tell anyone who she really is. Elvin's living on Harlem's cold, lonely streets, surviving on his own after his grandfather was mysteriously attacked. Can these three strangers come together to try to discover what really happened to Elvin's grandfather and solve a mystery that might just save their neighborhood? If you like mystery novels, if you like adventure books, this is a really cool chapter book, The Harlem Charade. The next book on the list is called Hello Universe. This is one of the books from the list that I think will probably win a lot of awards this year. In one day, 4 lives weave together in unexpected ways. Virgil Salinas is shy and kind-hearted and feels out of place in his crazy about sports family. Valencia Somerset, who is deaf, is smart, brave, and secretly lonely, and she loves everything about nature. Kaori Tanaka is a self-proclaimed psychic whose little sister Jen is always following her around, and Chet Bullens wishes the weird kids would just stop being so different so he can concentrate on basketball. They aren't friends, at least not until Chet pulls a prank that traps Virgil and his pet guinea pig at the bottom of a well. This disaster leads Kaori, Jen, and Valencia on an epic quest to find missing Virgil. Through luck, smarts, bravery, and a little help from the universe, a rescue is performed, a bully is put in his place, and friendship blooms. This is a really cool, different book, and it's one of those books that makes your heart feel good when you read it. If you like sweet books, if you like books about friendship, this is a great one for you. Hello Universe. How to Avoid Extinction is one of the funnier books on the list. It's about a kid named Leo who his main job is kind of taking care of his grandmother who has a bad habit of wandering away from home and going on adventures. But one day, Leo can't make Graham listen, and she insists that they all load up his 17-year-old cousin Abby and their old gassy dog Kermit, and they all hit the road. And a lot of family secrets come out. There's some cool things that they come across on the road. This is a really funny and sweet book. Don't judge a book by its cover. I think the cover isn't really showing you how cool this book is. For all of my kids who like art, this one is called Keith Haring, The Boy Who Just Kept Drawing. It's about the artist Keith Haring, who really spent a lot of his life donating his time and donating his art to help people who are less fortunate and to getting kids excited about art and drawing. If any of you like drawing, if you like learning about artists, Miss Core has read this book. She thinks it's awesome too. I highly encourage you guys to check it out. So imagine this. You're walking around your property one day and you come across this strange creature that looks kind of like a dog, but also kind of like a pig. It has this weird slick skin, and you see this thing that is eating plastic. Okay, that's all this creature eats. Well, this is what happens to the character in the story, Obi. He comes across this creature and he wants to protect it, but it turns out this creature might actually be kind of dangerous to the land that it's living on. There's a lot of other parts of the story. There's some bullying. There's a friendship story in here. Obi's dealing with some difficult stuff. This is one of those stories that's not like anything you've ever read before. I think it'll really keep readers interested. It's called Me and Marvin Gardens. Okay, guys, I don't want to sway your opinion about which book on the list is best, but this one is my favorite. It's called Refugee by Alan Gratz, and it's actually 3 different stories in one. A refugee is somebody who has to leave their home country because things have gotten too dangerous there. And this is actually the story of 3 kids who become refugees at different periods in history. One is from the Holocaust. They have to leave their home country because it's too dangerous there during the Holocaust. One is in the 1990s, and a girl has to leave Cuba to try to get to America. And the last one is actually a kid from present day Syria, which is a country towards the Middle East that is having a lot of problems in their country, and he's trying to get to somewhere that's safer. And all 3 stories come together, and I can't say much more because I don't want to spoil it, but there's a lot of twists and turns in this story. It's a really sweet book. It's one that really touches your heart, and it's one of the best books I read last year, Refugee. Reckless is a picture book that is a true story about a horse named Reckless who actually became kind of a wartime hero. If you like books about animals doing incredible things, I know some of you like to check out our National Geographic chapter books with true stories about animals saving people and doing kind of incredible things. This is exactly that. It's a true story about a horse who does some incredible things and really becomes a hero.
Then let's go, ladies and gentlemen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
They are off for the 102nd iteration of the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Joey Chestnut has his own camera on ESPN3. If you wish to watch it, he's right in the center of things, the 10-time champion.
I know we're going to talk hot dogs for a while here, but I just want to say welcome aboard, Adam. It is this moment, right now, the start of the competition, sitting in this booth, surrounded by patriotism, real America, red.
Now, what you just saw was a competitive eating contest, just like the one that our main character David wants to enter in Slider. Now, that was a hot dog eating contest, and in our story, David wins a competition like that, and he wants to move on to a bigger and better competition, a pizza eating competition. He's doing this for a lot of reasons. David's got some issues that are going on at home, but he really actually owes his mom $2,000. He spent $2,000 of his mom's money on accident, and he wants to win that money to pay her back. Can he do it? Read Slider and find out. Okay, guys, this is for all you who like scary stories. Spirit Hunters. Harper doesn't trust her new home from the moment she steps inside, and the rumors are that the Rain family's new house is haunted. Harper isn't sure she believes those rumors until her younger brother Michael starts acting strangely. The whole atmosphere gives Harper a sense of deja vu, but she can't remember why. She knows that the memories she's blacking out will help her make sense of her brother's behavior and the strange and threatening sensations she feels in this house, but will she be able to put the pieces together in time? This one gets 5 out of 5 shivers, guys. Read it if you dare. Steph Soto hates that everybody at school calls her the Taco Queen just because her dad happens to own a taco truck. She just wants to be a normal kid, slip by, not being noticed. But when her father's business is threatened because there are some new city laws, Steph has to be the one to stand up for her family. This one's a good book about using your voice and not being ashamed of who you are. I think it's a really sweet one, and especially for my almost middle schoolers like you guys, I think it's a cool one to read. This is an incredible true story about a man named Doc Key who has a horse named Jim, and Jim does some pretty incredible things. Did you know that some horses can read? If you didn't, this is the book for you. Step right up. This is a book about kindness, and it's about how people can overcome some really tough things. This is a really sweet, true story. Okay, I want you to imagine something for a minute. What if your teacher won the lottery and she shared all that money with her class? Well, that's what happens to the unlucky lottery winners of Classroom 13. Their teacher, Miss Linda, wins the lottery and she gives each student over $1 billion. But with that money comes some real problems. I can't spoil it for you and tell you what happens, but read it to find out. This is a really funny one. It's also fun to imagine, what would you do with all that money? Wedgie and Gizmo is the last book on our list. This is a really silly but really fun book. When a bouncy barky dog and an evil genius guinea pig move into the same house, the laughs are nonstop. Wedgie is so excited he can't stop barking. He loves having new siblings and friends to protect. He loves guinea pigs like Gizmo. He also loves treats. But Gizmo does not want to share his loyal human servant with a rump-sniffing beast. He does not want to live in a pink Barbie playhouse or be kissed and hugged by the girl human. Gizmo is an evil genius. He wants to take over the world and make all humans feel his wrath. These two team up and it's pretty hilarious. If you like Captain Underpants, if you like Baby Mouse, if you like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, if you like Timmy Failure, this is the book for you. Wedgie and Gizmo is probably the funniest, silliest book on the list, and I know a lot of you are going to really enjoy it. Okay, guys, so that's this year's Bluebonnet nominees. I'm so excited about the books this year. They're all really awesome. You guys are going to love them. Just like last year, when you walk in the library, that shelf that's to your right, on the back side of that shelf, that's where the Bluebonnet books are going to be. Now, the rule is you can only get one Bluebonnet book per week, and that's so there's enough for everybody to try to get one. So you can't get 2 at a time. You can just get 1 at a time. And remember, you're trying to read 5 between now and January. If there's one that you're really, really excited about and it's not in the week that you're in the library, then wait and see if it comes back the next week. And if you keep looking for it and keep looking for it and it doesn't come in, then we'll talk about trying to put it on hold for you so you can maybe get it the next time, okay? I'm super excited about the party. I think it's going to be so much fun. I want you guys to participate. I miss you guys. I am enjoying being off with my baby, but I'm also ready to get back to school and see you and hear about your summer. I'll be back in October. So, from now until then, you'll have Miss Halter, and she can answer any questions that you have about Bluebonnet. I hope everybody is having a great beginning of the year, and I'll see you soon.